Welcome back to iSPI Hacks, everyone. It's Sarah Ayers, Business Incubation Program Coordinator with Innovate Springfield. And I've got Chad Grau, email marketing guru and scientist. We were just joking about how he's an email scientist. And newsflash, he's got his PhD in pharmacy, so he actually is a scientist. Watch the last vid for our jokes because we're smart and funny, you guys. Okay, so in this video, Chad is going to talk about how you might be giving your customers decision fatigue in your emails. Guilty as charged. Can't wait to hear all the tips in this hack. So I'm just going to stop sharing my screen and pass the mic over to Chad.
All right. Well, thank you again, Sarah, for the opportunity to connect. Today, we are going to talk about the decisions, try to raise some awareness about the number of decisions that we ask our subscribers to make, and really our website visitors, really anywhere, because what we're trying to get people to do ultimately is just make a decision. Like, it might be no, it might be yes, but if they don't make a decision, 100% of the time, it's no. So that's just something that I think is an important thing to remember. And if you can simplify and make, one of my favorite quotes, which I've remembered, is the greatest communicators make the fewest words go the farthest. So just trying to think that, knowing that decisions that aren't made are always no, like I try to keep that in mind. And this is a hard thing. And I will flat out say that I receive newsletters of all kinds. Actually, I've kind of reduced, if they're good, I keep them, right? Some of my favorite ones, I can give you some examples, but they're generally simple. And I know what action they want me to take, right? So I'm also much more likely to take it. So, but I guess where I was going before I kind of took a little detour there was that I know that this is a hard thing. I've dealt with it, but it's well-intentioned to try to give all the information about our entire business in our newsletter. The fact is that, and again, preface this, which I'm in e-commerce 99.999% of the time. So, but I do think these principles apply to any newsletter that goes out, okay? It's well-intentioned to want to give all the creative work that we do and make sure people are aware of it. If, like, we want them to do business with us, we want them to know everything they need to know to be successful. What does it look like to have a newsletter that can be that communicates those things? So it's well-intentioned. We have new articles and resources. We have this awesome thing that's maybe on sale. We want to share a testimonial. We want you to invite to connect with us on Instagram and YouTube and Facebook and Snapchat. And we have our seasonal sale that's coming up. We want to plant the seed for, and we have this cool, inspiring quote. And by the way, Text Club, join it to join our Text Club. And here's where you can find us this week. And then Sunday, you have to order by Sunday to get delivery. And there's this article from this thought leader you should go read. And also, if you have a question, you should email me here. And I'm just like, no, like I can't do it. Like, I don't know what you want me to do. So that's something that I think that is, don't laugh, because it's okay. It's something that that you kind of start to, and me in e-commerce, I have I'm really picky on this in e-commerce because I want people to have conversions and to have people, making purchases that will serve them well and serve the business well. So the thought is, as I've kind of ramped up here, is just, that's fine. It is well-intentioned, but consider and test the impact of too many decisions, right? Decision fatigue. Like, I'm just like, I don't know what to do, right? So ultimately, more often than not, it leads to inaction. If you kind of have a pathway that you've started to build for your customers, we've talked about that in another iSPI hack. You have this pathway that's going, and then you get to your newsletter and it's a big sale that you're like, this is like the goal, like this is what you've been working up to. And then you give people all these decisions, boom, stalled progress. If it's an email, I get a newsletter from somebody that is constantly just there's too much going on and it's something I'm kind of interested in, I just get to the point where I just archive, insta archive, right? That's the term. I'm not going to engage back. It's just all monologue. There's no dialogue. So I'm not going to engage. Lack of engagement. Confused. Like, how do I buy it? Like, where do I click? Like, I'm not real. There's 64 links. Like, that's just something that we can do. You're making me laugh. Missed opportunities with the launch, unsubscribes, lost sales, unopened emails. These are the things we have to battle if we're not more focused with our newsletter. So with that buildup, we've kind of talked about these are the consequences, right, of not having of having it a path that's not real clear. Let's talk about some things that we can do. And this is a hard thing, right? One, what I try to work with my clients on is, for my business, for my organization, for my consulting services, there has to be there's generally one super key thing that I want my reader to take away from receiving this newsletter. One super key important idea that supersedes all of them. Maybe it's something that's happening this week that they have got to know about. Maybe it's a sale that stops tomorrow. Maybe it's what we call pre-launch content, or this great resource where we want to try to pre-sell somebody on a sale we have coming before it starts. I want them to read this so that they know when I open cart on Friday, like they're already sold, like I'm buying. As soon as that email gets there Friday, I'm buying. So that being said, I want that to be positioned in the best spot in my email newsletter. Like they should open it, the subject, that first of all, that should be what the subject line is. It shouldn't be July newsletter 2020. Like I'm just like not even reading it, like gone. Okay. So try to give a hint of what your main teaching point is and connect that with the email subject line. And that gets the main first spot. I would try to, I'll get to this, I think. So then after you kind of have identified your main key topic, then what are 3 or 4 additional secondary pieces that I could key on as well? Generally, you can come up with, maybe you have a pool of like 8 or 7, 8, 6, 9, 10 things you could potentially have in there, and maybe you can rotate them on what those secondary pieces are. You don't have to have them all in there every week. That's the challenge I would have, is if you think you have too many sections in your newsletter, I would say, is it critical to send this every week or every month to people? And if not, then have a content plan to where you can rotate it to where that comes in and is more meaningful. Okay. Secondly, utilize white space. Okay. Having too much text and talking in huge paragraphs is super hard. Like I just can't, I can't read a super long paragraph. Like give me punchy one to two sentence paragraphs, white space, separate your sections, try to use a line break. Just be aware, is it tiresome for my eyes to consume this? Right? I mean, just really evaluate. Don't just write it. Like send a test email to yourself and say, yep, I can consume this. Like I'm pretty sure I know what actions I want my reader to take. Next, if you can have your CTA buttons be consistent. So if I scroll this email and I have my one main section and my 3 to 4 additional sections, and sometimes, by the way, there might be 6 additional sections. If it's, probably not during a major promotion or something for, or super major action when people take, so if I scan this, I should be able to see, oh, if that's a green button, like that's something I can click, right? People will become habit. So have your CTA buttons be a consistent color for all the same sections. Don't have multiple different colors for the buttons you want people to click. If you have products and maybe you have a new store announcement for your e-commerce platform, or you have a services offering that there's multiple different services, I would encourage you, the goal is to have the email be the, say you go to the movie, you have a preview, you have a main attraction. The email is the preview. Give them a preview. The goal is to get them to click. So it might be confusing for me if I'm reading a section in the newsletter where I want people to take a certain action, okay? If I can have them link to one page, have one button to click or one link to click, and then all those different information is presented on that page, I'm more likely to know, okay, well, they want me to click here. Click, versus then I'm deciphering, well, there's 7 links here. Which one should I click? I don't know. Then I'm going to come back and click another and come back and click another. So what do you want to do? What do you ultimately want them to, what actions do you want to take? A perfect example for this in e-commerce and people that they, link, we've got ground beef and we have pork chops and we have eggs and we have, milk, and they would link to all of them, where if you can make a collection or make it easier for them to find them in one spot, then they can consume the information on your website. We just want to get the click over to the website. Next is you want to review your email to see how it presents on desktop and mobile. I was, for a while, was very guilty. I do all my work on the desktop. I'm like, oh, this looks amazing, right? And then I'm getting my phone on the email. I'm like, God, this is so long, because it scrunches things down to singular column, or oftentimes. So it's just, plus you'll see, how does your white space present? How do my buttons look? Do they look weird? Do my links, so you can uncover a lot by testing on desktop and mobile. And you certainly want to be evaluating mobile, because we know that's how people are most of the time first going to consume a lot of content. Next, test how does it look for a one column format on an email versus having, a one column and then maybe there's two sections side by side, or there's three sections side by side. Just test and see. Typically, there's either platform. I know the platform that I use almost exclusively has that built in, where I can kind of split test, like how much does this email get compared to this email. That's something that we've tested, and we still are using the basic one column email, because we have tested it in a split test within the platform to see, okay, well, let's just build the new email a template that has multiple different sections. And every quarter we do this, and every time, higher average order value, more site visits, and more conversions on our standard keep it simple email. That's just why I'm really big on this, because I think that the trend in e-commerce is to present this super dynamic looking email, but I'm curious what the multiple different images, and like I worry that people might get confused by trying to present too much to them. So that's the main principle. One thing I do want to clarify, and this is kind of I don't want to confuse people, but in my main section, I may have, there are 5 components when it's a sale. When I want to get people to a web page, this is something I almost always deploy. We will have a link, like an image in the header, that links to the sales page. I will have a link within the first 2 sentences. It's very clear to see that links to the sales page. I will have an image of the product in the in the email that links to the sales page. I will have a button at the conclusion that links to the sales page. And I will have a PS, don't forget that the final dates are here, that links to the sales page. So there are 5 entry points to the sales page, but they're all completely different. And some people are button clickers, some people are link clickers, some people are PS link clickers, and some people are image clickers. So if you are only giving them one button, it just, so there are multiple different entry points, but ultimately they all go to the same destination. So I don't think that it presents a confusion. If anything, it just tries to adapt to the ways that people may interact with emails. So those are just some of the tidbits here. I think that having like a monthly digest is something to where, what can I send monthly? Maybe there's some things that only need to go out monthly, so that every week I have a more effective, concise newsletter that people can interact with. So it's really hard to cut things out, but ultimately, if you can reduce the number of decisions, you're going to have a better likelihood of engagement, sales, forwarding on, referral, things like that. So all good things.
Chad, oh my gosh, that's so good. So if I have questions, or if I want to follow up, are there resources that you can point me to, like on your website maybe?
Yep. So I actually am relaunching, I have just relaunched my website, and I'm actually in the process of writing a book, which is really all about loyalty, and really using email and other strategies to drive home customer loyalty. So that's going to be coming out in early 2021. So if you want to kind of be on that announcement list to get chapters in advance and kind of see what dialogue I have going on, share specific examples of things that I've worked with on clients that led to the concepts being presented in the book, you can do that. So if you go to my website, which is chadgraue.com, so it's ChadGraue.com/book, then that will be a resource where it would be a great starting point to kind of dive into more of the topics more detail on the topics we've kind of touched the surface on here on these 4 iSPI hacks.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Chad. And thank you all for attending and tuning in with us. Please tell your friends. I'll be sure to drop those links in the description for the vids. So don't get too overwhelmed. And we're always here for you at Innovate Springfield when you're ready to start a company. So we'll see you in cyberspace, everybody. Thanks for watching.